A very good evening for wherever you're watching as from. This is Look Up News, the 14th day of September 2023. Nancy Nelima here.
Now, my name is Brian Amuai. Welcome to the program. This is Look Up News, just like Nancy Nelima did say. And Nelima, yesterday was my birthday. You do know that?
Keitani wished you happy birthday right on this set.
I didn't see that. I kind of missed it. But are you going to wish me happy birthday?
Yes, but I think we have more pressing issues.
Getting to the news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us here. My name is Brian Amoya. Sign language interpreter tonight is Philista Adundo. Remember, you can be part of the program by engaging us on our socials. That is at Amoy Brian on Twitter, at Lookuptv, at Nancy Nelima. We are also live on Facebook and on YouTube, where you can send your feedback and we'll be able to sample some of it as we continue with the program tonight. We get the highlights.
Tonight on Look Up News, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki says those involved in the controversial WorldCoin registration will be brought to book. Students of Kibokone School in Kilifi County nursing injuries after a fire razed down their dormitories. And elderly women in Kirinyaga County play football for fitness and recreation.
All right, so we start the program, Nelima.
Right, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki today appeared before the ad hoc committee to present a report on the legality of WorldCoin operations in the country. And
as Melvin Gitembe now reports, Kindiki appeared before the ad hoc committee following allegations that there could be someone backing up WorldCoin operations on illegal grounds in the country.
I, Kithure Kindiki, do swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee, the matter under its considerations, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
As the probe to establish the legality of WorldCoin in the country continues, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki today appeared before the WorldCoin ad hoc committee following the allegations that there could be someone backing up WorldCoin operations on illegal grounds, with the CS assuring the committee that the perpetrators will face the full force of law once subjected to any criminal offense.
It is established, aided, abetted, supported, encouraged, or even attempted any of those things to facilitate any crime which may have been committed in the circumstances of the WorldCoin. We will hold them accountable, and that is the assurance I want to give as the Security Minister. We will hold them accountable.
According to the CS, Immigration Department, Director of Criminal Investigation DCI, and his office had issued a red alert that sought to stop WorldCoin officials from flying out of the country until investigation is completed.
It is true that the police, through the DCI, had defected stop orders against the concerned people, and they had filed those stop orders with immigration, and we had placed a red alert. And it is true what the DCI said when those officials attempted to leave the country.
Kindiki now says that he has put legal measures to make sure Kenyan data is protected. On the question that seeked answers whether the data collected could be retrieved and if the servers could be assessed, Kindiki noted that his office is working towards its retrieval, and therefore once investigation is done and WorldCoin is proved to be legal, then necessary action will be taken.
So what I want to know is, within your scope and within your responsibility in terms of safeguarding our country, even on personal data, and because of what they have said, are you in a position to ask them to open the server and confirm that they've deleted the Kenyan data as they are stating? Thank you, Chair.
I would rather side with the possibility that when data enters that space, it cannot be retrieved completely, because that is what would put me on the safe side.
The Ministry of Interior Security has now commissioned a workforce that will tackle the matter to the letter, saying that we must expand the scope of crime in the cybersecurity space. It has been 1 month now since WorldCoin operations were halted in the country on grounds that WorldCoin existed illegally. Appearing before the ADA committee, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki now says that he has put measures to make sure that Kenyan data is protected. He had also said that he had commenced an investigation. This investigation sought to find how many Kenyans were registered and where was data collected, taken. Kindiki has promised to submit a report on the current status of investigation by the end of this month. Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Thank you, Getembe. Now staying on his diary, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki now says the border disputes between the counties of Meru and Tharaka Nithi is mainly caused by rampant land-grabbing incidences brought about by rogue public officials in the Lands Ministry.
Appearing before the Senate Cohesion Committee, Kindiki blamed the land officials for fraudulently issuing title deeds to wrong and corrupt individuals.
The CS also blamed politicians for inciting locals against each other, incidences which he says turns violent.
Interior CS Kithure Kindiki on Thursday reiterated that the constant clashes between residents from the two counties of Tharaka Nithi and Meru have been brought about by fraudulent acquisitions including public lands, as well as delays by the government to relocate those who have been caught in the land allocation fracas in the area.
All those who stole land in Tharaka Nithi and Meru counties along that border, using advantage of corruption in land offices, corrupt administrators, and using influence in government to cause injustice and to bring instability among people who are basically one community. All that land, they will lose it.
Kindiki further castigated politicians in the two regions for inciting locals against each other, which he says led to violence, adding that the issue of absentee land owners who show up only to be attacked by rowdy mobs was yet another key issue, leading to clashes between the two neighboring counties.
Around the enactment of the 1992 District and Provinces Act, and there was a lot of politics around there. And the earlier one appeared to have been a little more objective. But the Constitution preserves, the current Constitution preserves the 1992 Act. So you cannot amend that Act because that Act has coordinates. The Act provides coordinates for counties.
The CS promised to depoliticize the situation as he called on the communities to shun the indifferences as the ministry continues to engage respective agencies while appearing before the Senate Cohesion Committee to deliberate on the delimitation status over the constant border dispute between Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties, among other insecurity-prone areas across the country.
In the clashes between Tharaka Nithi and Meru counties, those violent clashes in 1996, 1997, those IDPs that you so share will be resettled. And therefore, perhaps we will develop a time frame for that process. We'll find a way of compensating or resettling those IDPs, the same way we are doing in other parts of the country. We cannot allow violent behavior as a way of airing grievance.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, while appearing before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee, has revealed that the constant clashes witnessed between the communities of Meru and Tharaka Nithi is as a result of unscrupulous officials from the Lands Ministry. Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
All right, now thank you so much, Stanley Lugaria, for that particular report. Moving on, Renson Mulele Ingonga is headed for the Director of Public Prosecution position. This is after Parliament approved his nomination.
According to the Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs chaired by Tharaka MP George Muragara, Mulele's recommendation for appointment is based on his general knowledge of public litigations as well as his background knowledge of the operations of the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions, where he worked for several years.
Now, prior to his nomination, he was serving as the Assistant DPP. President William Ruto nominated Mulele for the position last month from a list of 15 candidates shortlisted by the Public Service Commission.
When sworn in, Mulele will take over from Nurdin Haji, who is now the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, NIS. And in a bid to support President William Ruto's bottom-up agenda, the Ministry of Education has approved the recognition of the prior learning policy through the launching of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, which is set to recognize skilled workers who lack academic certificates.
The initiative brings reprieve to thousands of youth in the country who are struggling to fit in the job market.
The acting director of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, Dr. Alice Kande, while addressing the press in a Siriani hotel in Naivasha, stated that the program will enable beneficiaries to get government jobs as well as contracts.
The Ministry of Education has approved the recognition of prior learning RPL policy, which primarily seeks to recognize thousands of skilled Kenyans who have no academic documents.
Last 4 years we have been developing this policy framework. We have worked along because it was a sensitive matter. You know, you had to bring on board everybody, all the stakeholders, the employers, the workers, the institutions, because initially there was a resistance. So you have to work carefully until where we have reached. This policy would have been launched by the last government.
The education stakeholders led by the Kenya National Quality Authority Director General Dr. Alice Kande argued that through the authority, which is set to be launched mid-next month, the majority of the skilled national population, the migrants and the refugees are the key beneficiaries set to benefit from the policy.
The conception of this idea, having the policy and having the right tools and ensuring that all stakeholders, the industry, the employers are all involved, are all engaged and all embrace this policy, are all involved and they are privy to what then pertains to effective implementation.
Kande, however, added that they have so far recruited 400 personnel to gauge their preparedness geared towards the launch of the program, noting that the candidates are also set to graduate the day they will launch the project.
Is done, then we shall be launching, and we have slated 6th of October as a date to do the national launch of recognition of prior learning policy.
Regan Meguran, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, President William Ruto is expected to join several heads of state for the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York, USA.
As Ian Kitani now reports, the General Assembly comes at a time when President William Ruto has been on the forefront in advocating for key issues affecting Africa, most recently during the inaugural Africa Climate Summit.
Now, the continent will be looking upon President Ruto to once again put their European counterparts on toes in a bid to ensure the issues affecting the continent are addressed.
Several heads of state expected to grace the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York, with assembly set to discuss a myriad of issues, top among them health, education and matters climate.
It is not a secret that we are paying at least 5 times as much as advanced economies to borrow from the financial markets. It's a fact, documented.
With the President William Ruto leading from the front in advocating for matters affecting the African continent, most recently during the 5th Media African Union Coordination meeting in Nairobi and during the Africa Climate Summit, Ruto lamented about the unfair financial systems while calling for a total overhaul to accommodate a new system that will be fair to African countries.
We must have a collective position on matters to do with debt and liquidity. We must all agree that it is time for a new financing mechanism. The reform of the multilateral development banks is no longer about if, it is when.
Ruto is expected to use the General Assembly to advocate for a suitable system that will see African countries pay same rates as their European counterparts. With the President Emmanuel Macron recently lauding President William Ruto for his unrelenting efforts in tackling matters climate change, President Ruto is expected to use the opportunity to call for the inclusion of African countries in the decision-making of issues affecting the continent.
And it is true, we need to have a conversation about Africa's potential. Why? Because we have been profiled negatively. The continent of disease, war, poverty. But we are stepping forward to say, look here, Africa is the continent with 60% of the world's renewable energy assets.
The African continent will hope that President William Ruto will use the opportunity to call on European countries to offer more in tackling matters climate change as they remain the largest emitters. The United Nations General Assembly is expected to start on the 19th of September, through to the 23rd of September. Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
And that report by Ian Keitani takes us for a very fast break here on the program.
Realize your home ownership dream by investing in Brookvale Tuala, a magnificent prime residential property located in Ongata, Rongai. Brookvale Tuala by Safaricom Investment Cooperative overlooks the majestic Ngong Hills and lies only 24 kilometers from Nairobi CBD. The project boasts of well-serviced plots with a perimeter wall, graded roads and a borehole. 50 by 100 plots are going for 1.4 million shillings with a flexible payment plan of up to 6 months. To book your plot, call 0729 121212 today. Safaricom Investment Cooperative, the investment partner of choice.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us here on Lookup News. Before we continue with the program tonight, let me just read some of your feedback here. Pablo Moja says, watching from Ruiru. David Kishau Ole Kolei says, watching from Kajiado. Thank you so much for tuning in. Continue engaging us on our Facebook page, that is at Lookuptv. Now, hundreds of students were left stranded after fire broke out in one of the girls' dormitory at Kibokoni Secondary School in Malindi County.
A number of students were injured and property worth thousands damaged. However, details about the number of students who were injured remains unknown, with parents slamming the school administration over failure to give parents a proper update on the tragedy.
Beatrice Kageha now reports.
Wangu kuangalia kama anaendelea vipi. Nilipofika hapo Kibokoni kukawa kuna moto unawaka, hata zima moto likaja. Ninapofika pale likazima ule moto, lakini kuna watoto wengine walikuwa wameathirika, wameanguka, hawawezi. Hata mmoja akaenda hospitali upesi, mmoja akaenda darasani, manake alikuwa amepata nafuu. Haya, halafu ndivyo wakaondoka wakarudi. Kwa hivyo nimeona mambo hayo nimeyaona na jicho langu. Shule imechomeka, halafu hata walimu wenyewe wa hiyo shule ya Kibokoni walikuwa hawashuhudiki, hata ni wazazi ndio wanashuhudika.
Asubuhi ya leo tumeshuhudia girls dormitory ikichomeka hapa Kibokoni secondary school, na katika nyumbani kwetu tulikuwa tumepatwa na msiba. Kijana yetu alikuwa amefikwa na nyumba jana. Ikanibidi mimi mwenye boma ni waamuru wale ambao walikuja kuomboleza kwetu nyumbani watoroke waende mbio pale Kibokoni secondary ili waende waokoe. Sikufanya mbaya, tumwacha mwili wa mtoto wa mdogo wangu nyumbani kwetu, lakini wale ambao walikuja kuomboleza na sisi waende wasaidie Kibokoni secondary school ikiwa yachomeka pale. Lakini la ajabu ni kwamba waandishi wa habari wamefika ili wakaweze kuchukua zile habari ambazo ziko pale, ama kile kitendo ama chanzo cha moto, wanafukuzwa. Kwa nini wafukuzwe? Na kama kuna shida kwa hii secondary school, kwa nini tusiambiwe? Na kama wanahabari wanaweza fukuzwa, ina maana ya kwamba the management knows very well the cause of that fire. Basi tuambiwe. Nakataa. Tutabidi sasa aende andike taarifa kwa nini. Jamii tunataka kujua kwa nini amekataa. Manake shule si ya mwenyekiti. Ni tunaomba wazazi wawe imara, paitwe mkutano wa wazazi wa dharura ili wazazi waelezewe ni kwa nini dormitory ilichomeka. Kamati lazima ijibu, na ijibu kwa wazazi wenzao. Hawakujichagua wenyewe, walichaguliwa. They have to answer ni kitu gani ambayo ili happen, ambapo hata wanahabari wanakatazwa.
Moving on, the County Governor Susan Kihika has put on notice all County Executive Committee members against failing to execute their mandates as expected.
Now, speaking after overseeing the signing of performance contracts by CEACMs, Kihika called on her cabinet to prioritize development projects that will benefit the common man, while cautioning land grabbers that her administration will not tolerate such acts of impunity.
The performance contract includes the absorption of funds. The controller of the budget has written to the county government expressing the need to absorb more over the findings of an assessment on the absorption of funds between the financial year 2018 and 2022. We have rolled over as a county for that period between 2018 and 2022. The county government has not absorbed the funds very well and has rolled over projects on average about 5.7 billion in the development budget every year, which is really scary. With this contract, I'm putting my county executive committee on notice to ensure that the development budget is 100% implemented within the financial year. The performance of the performance contract will also check on the impact of community empowerment programs. So I will expect the CECM for agriculture, for example, to show me not just how many avocado seedlings he has distributed, but how has the livelihood of the farmers improved as a result of our avocado program. So this performance contract will also look at the absorption of externally mobilized resources. The Nakuru County government has performed maybe perhaps not too well in the externally funded projects and programs. Take, for example, the Afraha Stadium. The stadium had an initial completion timeline of 64 weeks. By the time of my assumption of office, 104 weeks ago, the construction was only at 37%. So I'm happy to report that after I've come into the office in the last 52 weeks, I have pushed these projects. There are many times I have shown up over there unexpectedly to see how it's going. We have pushed, and in that time period, I have gone, in 52 weeks now, I have gone from 37% to 90% completion.
Now, away from that, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has appealed to Colombia to partner with Kenya in boosting coffee trade in the country in a quest to gain entry into the global market.
Speaking during a meeting with the Colombian Coffee Growers Federation, Gachagua noted that the partnership will not only benefit the country, but also the farmers from various counties, while emphasizing the government's commitment in ensuring farmer-centered reforms are implemented.
We are here in this forum by choice because we have a lot to learn from Colombia. Undoubtedly, Colombia is the largest producer of coffee in the world and has the best quality. Our visit here is we want you to help us in matters of research. We had a very good research station called the Coffee Research Foundation, but through some mistakes that were made in terms of policy, that research was abandoned, and as a result, we have not come up with better varieties that are disease resistant, and we want you to help our hand as we are doing reforms to bring back the Coffee Research Foundation, and we can borrow some good lessons on your research capacity in this country. We are here to seek your friendship, to seek your companionship, to seek your collaboration, to seek a next stage program of how the two countries that produce the best coffee in the world can work together so that we can learn from you and we see how you can help us to penetrate the world market so that we can sell our coffee directly.
Now, one suspect was shot dead in Lari constituency, Kiambu County, while his accomplice narrowly escaped death after a robbery attempt in the Langata area. The two shot dead and injured a businessman in the abdomen when he resisted their demands. The unfortunate incident was confirmed by Lari Police Commander Adamson Furaha, who noted that the suspect demanded 2 million shillings from the victim.
In a shocking incident in Kiambu County's Lari constituency, one suspect met his demise at the hands of furious Kimende residents, while his partner narrowly escaped death during a botched robbery. The duo hijacked a salon car in Langata, demanding a hefty sum of 2 million Kenyan shillings from a businessman. Upon refusal to surrender the money, the victim was shot in the stomach, while another brave young man trying to rescue him was shot below his rib. Both victims are now recovering from their gunshot wounds at Jabe Hospital and Tigoni Level 4 Hospital.
Hiyo gari akajaribu kuigogesha kwa hiyo gari ili apate usaidizi. Alikuwa anapiga duru, kwa hivyo watu wakajaribu kumsaidia. Gari ingine ikamfugia nyuma, kwa hivyo haingeweza kutoroka tena.
Witnesses shared their accounts of the confrontation, commending security forces for their rapid response while calling for increased patrols, giving the proximity to Nairobi-Nakuru highway to deter criminals from other areas terrorizing innocent Kenyans.
Naitwa David Mwangi na mimi ni mmoja wa wale walikuwa huko kwa barabara, tukasikia kuna wezi, na wakati tulisikia kuna wezi hivyo tukaanza kumfuata juu sasa alikuwa anaenda anatishia watu kwa kupiga risasi. Sasa sisi kuna njia ya tulipita yenye mwizi hakupita. Ile nilipitanga tu hivyo, mimi nilikuwa peke yangu, lakini kulikuwa na bogi nyingine ilikuwa nyuma yangu na nilikuwa na mawe. Wakati nilifika pale kuna nyumba, kuna mahali nilipata kuna nyumba. Mimi kufika hapo sikuwa najua mwizi amejificha hapo, alikuwa amesimama hivi. Wakati nilikuja kutokea tu hivi, nikapatana na yeye akanimulika tu na buduki hivi. Mimi na mawe yangu nikaweka chini na nikamwambia asinigonge. Sasa mimi nikajaribu kujitetea maana niko peke yangu. Vile tu alijaribu kunigonga, hiyo risasi haiko inatoka. Sasa ndio watu waliona hivyo wakakuja, mmoja akampiga na mawe kwa kichwa akaanguka, na sasa mimi nikapata nguvu, tukaamuka tukamshika na tukanyaganya buduki. Kabla sasa tumpige vizuri hapo, polisi wakakuja. Wakachukua buduki na wakaangalia, ikakuwa sawa, lakini haikuwa na risasi ndani yake. Sasa wakamchukua na wakaenda na yeye. Mwingine sasa wakati tulimalizana na huyo, tukirudi tulisikia hasa naye mwingine mwenye alikuwa hapo kwa unit ndio alikuwa amechapiwa hapa na alikuwa bado ameshikwa, na mwingine mwenye alikuwa amepigwa risasi amepelekwa kwa hospitali.
Bridget Agola, Lookuptv.
Now, away from that, Narok Governor Patrick Ntutu has commissioned the renovation of at least 1,240 kilometer roads in Narok West and South sub-counties in preparations for the expected heavy rains.
Ntutu noted that the county will spend at least 1.4 billion shillings to buy machinery to be used for the renovations. Among the projects in construction is Osanangururi Bridge along the Nkareta Road and culverts that cost the county government 28.3 million shillings.
Beatrice Njoroge now reports.
Narok Governor Patrick Ntutu has commissioned the renovation of at least 1,245 kilometers of roads in Narok West and South sub-counties in preparation for the expected heavy rains. Ntutu noted that the county will spend at least 1.4 billion shillings to buy machinery to be used for the renovations.
The idea here is we want to make sure that the roads that we have are prepared for El Nino. Most of the roads that I've done are maram. Some are actually just clearing the bush. And we are looking forward to really open up the entire Narok North. Narok North is one of the biggest challenges that we have, particularly on the road network.
As the nation prepares for the forecasted El Nino rains in Kakamega County, the County Chief Executive Committee member for Environment, Penina Mukabane, has confirmed that a multi-sectoral approach preparedness has been activated and already drainage systems in the county are being decluttered to reduce flooding.
Mvua wa El Nino unakuanga na various impacts. Inaweza kuwa na flooding, inaweza kuwa na landslides. Wakati mwingine pia inaweza kuharibu mimea ambayo ila hitaji mvua mingi na kadhalika.
In other news, Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire, speaking during the national launch of last mile fertilizer distribution in the county, has warned farmers against selling subsidized fertilizers, urging them to use it for the benefit of their farms, noting that the county government will ensure that the subsidized fertilizers are delivered to them. Elsewhere in Garissa County, the Kenya Urban Roads Authority, KURA, in collaboration with Kenya Forest Service, planted over 300 tree seedlings at Sharib Secondary School compound as part of government initiative to increase its forest cover to 30% by 2032.
This is in endeavor to achieve the 15 billion trees by 2032. And as Garissa, we have an annual target of planting 55,000 hectares annually and 550,000 hectares.
Wanjiko Njoroge, Lookuptv.
All right, let's get sporty tonight. Kenya's 2022 Africa heavyweight silver medalist Elizabeth and Diego stormed into the semi-finals of the ongoing 2024 Olympic qualifiers in Dakar, Senegal. While in the lightweight category, Kenya's Teresia Wanjiru lost to Nigerian Cynthia Temitaya.
In the men's heavyweight category, Peter Abuti was defeated by Gabriel Julio of Mozambique. The winner will represent Africa in the Olympic competition next year in Paris, France.
First of all, I thank God kwa ushindi. Sema opponent wangu nimemjua kutoka 2019, so nilikuwa nimemsoma kidogo. Nikajua through my experience nitaweza kumcontrol. Nimetumia ujuzi wangu kuweza kumcontrol each round at a time. Formula yenye nimeanza nao round 1, nimecheza nao hadi mwisho na nashukuru nimepata ushindi. So ni kuendelea tu mbele one bout at a time till tufike kuchukua tikiti. So na shukran kwa watu wote, kwa ma coaches, my teammates kwa support.
And the final leg of NCBA golf competition will take center stage this weekend at the Sigona Golf Club.
Now 200 golfers are expected to tee it up the past 72 courses in Sigona, with grand finale expected in December at the same venue.
The overall winner in men's and ladies category will pocket 100,000 as the grand prize.
Come on. Where are you? Through.
Now, the Football Foundation for Africa held their second edition of Africa Football Business Summit that kicked off today for a two-day event at the Weston Hotel in Nairobi.
The forum has seen industry stakeholders address football governance in Africa, stating transparency and good governance and federations are part of the foundations of the African football growth, together with creating shared values with sponsors, which creates opportunities for profits to overcome constraints that limit the growth of football in the continent.
Business Summit. It's about bringing stakeholders together to see what can be done to move the industry forward, football and sports in general. It's high time we had a stronger participation from the AU specifically. CAF already is involved in this football space, that's automatic. But in terms of creating a framework where sports, football can thrive as a business, then we need players like the AU to come in. The lack of transparency, accountability in the federation is a consequence of mismanagement, which is, again, a lack of having the right professionals in the right place. So how we fashion our players, our youths, when they take up leadership position, that will determine their integrity, and which will enhance transparency and accountability in the ecosystem.
It is very important for the leadership of any sports entity, once you've closed the deal, to ensure it works out by providing, because you understand the game better than the other guys that are giving you money. You understand your business. So it's very important for you to be able to give insights and advice in terms of how to execute the sponsorship, provide avenues for activation, such that the sponsor is happy with the results that they are getting. The discussion at the point of renewal becomes much easier.
And just like that, we've come to the end of the broadcast this evening. Let me sample some of your feedback before we bow out. Abdi Rashid Ahmed Mohammed says, thank you, look up. He didn't say lock up, though, but it's look up. We get the message for the good news, and the rest are at large. Thank you so much. David Kishau Ole Kilel says, watching from Kajiado, Magadi. And Mohammed Mahmoud Suga says, watching from Somalia. Remember, Lookuptv comes to you across all our 47 counties and even beyond our borders on our website at www.lookuptv.co.ke, on our social media platforms at Lookuptv, on Twitter, which is X now.
Yeah, now it's now.
Yes, at YouTube, on our YouTube channel, as well as Facebook. Let me sample just two more. James Nganga says, tunatazama moja kwa moja tukiwa Mushadha na marafiki zangu. Inafaa kuwa marafiki wangu.
We can't correct that.
Okay, we lost Fiona. And Cool Breezy Mo says, locked in from East LA. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate your feedback.
Right. Now, thank you so much. Just like Nelima did say, Nelima, we do this again?
Right. We don't know if this has become a thing.
We could try.
We'll see about that.
And see what happens.
Right. Well, on behalf of everyone that made this bulletin a success, our producer Ian Keitani, our director Orondo,
and the entire crew that
guy
is
on the
behind.
sound, Kinwa, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much for watching tonight. Sign language interpreter has been Philista Adundo. My name is Brian Amwai. Good night and God bless you.
And I'm Nancy Nalima. Have a good one.